Welcome to Cooking with Cam. I'm Cam and I'm here at my parents' house on the Mornington Peninsula. Today I've decided the theme of the show will be Italian. So we'll make a beautiful pumpkin and parmesan ravioli with a creamy sage and black pepper sauce. After that we'll make a really quick and easy tiramisu, so come and join me in the kitchen. So we've made our way to the kitchen, and to get started we're going to need to make some pasta dough. For this we'll need 150 grams of plain flour, 150 grams of semolina, 2 eggs, some oil and some water. So we just start by adding the flour and the semolina to a bowl. Add a pinch of salt into that. Stir that around so they're mixed through well, making a little well in the center at the same time. The reason we're using half semolina is because it's got a lot stronger gluten, makes the pasta more stretchy, and it means that we can make some filled pastas with it later. So to this we add the eggs. We also add the oil and just a tiny bit of water. Stir that through. Once it's formed a dough, tip it out of the bowl. And now we can begin to knead it. When you're kneading it, make sure you stretch it out, and you can also adjust it now with more flour or more water, depending on whether it's too dry or too wet. But making sure you stretch it, not just pushing it down, but stretching it along. And it should, it'll tear at the start, but it should become a lot more flexible and as you work it, and a lot smoother as well. This is how you know it's ready. It should take around 10 to 15 minutes. So that looks pretty good now, but make sure it's well kneaded. Makes your job a lot easier later on. And we'll put that aside to rest while we make the pasta filling. So we're going to make a roast pumpkin and parmesan filling today, which is a beautiful flavour, and it should go well with the sauce I've got in mind. So this pumpkin's just been roasting for about 15 minutes. It's diced up so it gets a nice colour all around it. Just put your pumpkin pieces into a bowl. To that we add freshly grated parmesan. It's quite important to use the best parmesan available that you can afford to buy, because with such simple flavours you need them to be quite good, because there's nothing to mask them. So you really try and use the best products you can. Just keep grating that, around 50 grams. To this we just add some seasoning, just some cracked pepper and just some salt, and work that through. It's quite important to do this while it's hot, so you get a really nice smooth and well combined mixture, and you want the cheese to melt through it as well. So you've got to make sure it's hot when you mix it but cold when you use it, so that's why we're making it early on. So that's about the right consistency now. Nice and smooth. Parmesan's melted in and it's well seasoned. We'll just put that in the fridge now and let that come down to temperature. So now that's cooling in the fridge, we can move on to rolling out our pasta. Here's one I've already made earlier, and it's well rested. It's very important to rest it. It's also very important to keep it at room temperature. The reason being for that is that you can roll it a lot thinner and a lot easier if it's at room temperature, and also if it's well rested. You'll feel it's quite a bit softer than it was before you rested it, and that's the reason behind doing it. So I've got a pasta machine here to roll it out with. If you don't, you can use a rolling pin, that's fine. Pasta machine makes it easier, but it's the same idea. Rolling it as thin as you can, then folding it, then rolling it as thin as you can. With a pasta machine, you can do it continually. With a rolling pin, I'd recommend resting it between rolls. But same idea, roll it out as thin as you can. So this has got 7 settings on it. and I just work my way down the 7, then fold it, and then put it through again, maybe 3 or 4 times. So I'm just working it through again, keep folding it, trying to keep it as wide and square as possible. So this is now ready. It's nice and thin and shiny and stretchy. That's the most important thing. If you're not sure, have a little feel. You can stretch it without it breaking. That's what you want. That looks pretty good to me. So we're going to make this into ravioli now. So we'll cut a nice rectangle out, like that. So that's maybe 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters. Just put the other pasta to the side. So to make the ravioli, we just need a brush in the water from before, and we'll grab our filling out of the fridge, which is now chilled. Portion a little bit out onto your pasta, just like this. You don't have to be too precise with this. Like that's fine. Give it a brush of water around, not too much. Now when you're doing this, lift it up like this and squeeze all the air out. It's quite important to get all the air out. If you don't get all the air out, then it will float to the top and not cook properly. So get all the air out, get a nice seal. If you need to reinforce the seal, use the back of the knife like this. Now today I'm going to give it just a little bit of a special touch. I have just a little crinkle cutter here, but you can use a round cutter, you can use the knife to cut it, or if you're just happy with them like that, nice and rustic, then you can serve them like that. It's up to you. I prefer the crinkle cut. So this also gives it a nice square because it's a set length and makes them all look perfectly consistent, and if you're having a dinner party, it's very impressive. And the last one, there's a beautiful pumpkin ravioli. Only 15 more to go. And now I'm just cutting the last one. Now we'll move on to the fettuccine. When making the fettuccine, use a slightly thicker piece of pasta. We have this here, cut this to a length that you want your fettuccine, so say around 15 centimeters is good. To stop this sticking to itself, we're going to need some semolina, because in order to make this, we need to roll it into a spiral. So just take some semolina, same semolina we used to make the pasta. The reason why we use semolina for this is because flour would stick to the pasta and be absorbed by the pasta, but the semolina doesn't stick to it, so it acts as a good agent to stop it sticking to itself. And we just shake that off at the end, a little bit more on top, and now just cut this as thick as you like. These are probably around 1/2 centimetre thick each, and just keep cutting it like that until you get as many as you want. That's around 10 pieces there. More semolina on top, and now we just shake them all out on the ends like this. Grab the ends, shake them out. If you have a lot of these, you can just shake them all out together in a bag or a bowl, but it's easy to do it with your hands. And there we have some beautiful fettuccine. So now that we have our beautiful pasta, all we need is a beautiful sauce, and I'll show you how to do that right after the break. I'll see you then.